Welcome to the Skeptic Zone, the podcast from Australia for science and reason.
Yes, it's the Skeptic Zone podcast, episode number 860 for the 30th of March, 2025. Richard Saunders coming to you from Sydney, Australia. Well, rainy, coolish, humid but rainy, and overcast sort of day. Not too unpleasant, really, if you like that sort of thing. Coming up on this week's episode of the Skeptic Zone, it's the return of the loons from Canada. And what a strange thing they have done, those loons. Kate and Allie. Kat and Adrienne, of course. As they have written to me for this segment, join Kate and Allie as they investigate paranormal activity at Concordia University with Rodney Schmaltz's fourth-year psychology students from McEwan University. They explore potential ghostly presence using dowsing rods, EVPs, ghost photography, and infrasound detection. Listen to eerie recordings and a few giggles as they explore the spooky old building in the dark. So picture the scene, a spooky building at night. Kate and Allie, both with their microphones, go off with different groups of people to experiment with different ghost detecting techniques. Lots of fun. The loons from Canada hunting for ghosts. Now, this story actually is a lot of fun. You can almost picture in your mind's eye what's going on with Kate and Allie and the students. Following that, we see why the promised alien mothership appearances of the weekend of the 15th and 16th of this month failed to materialize. I bet you were disappointed. I bet, like me, you stayed up all night, binoculars at the ready, gazing towards the heaven to witness this dramatic appearance. What went wrong? Well, we find out via some TikTok alien channelers. And I must say I really take issue with these people who claim to channel the Galactic Federation. We know the only true channeler of the Galactic Federation is Psychic Penny. And, you're going to be hearing a lot about Psychic Penny in this episode, one way or the other. And a distant relative, a distant cousin of Psychic Penny, Adrienne Hill, will be back after that to tell us about the latest Australian Skeptics Newsletter, written by Tim Mendham. Then to round off the show, back to the archives, back to those wonderful TROVE archives of digitized newspapers, and we're looking for references to the Abominable Snowman. Don't hear much about him, them, it, she anymore. But as we'll discover, especially around the 1950s, that term was frequently to be found in newspaper reports. Well, that's enough for me at the moment. It's time for me to run downstairs, and I think it's a toast and soup sort of morning. Pumpkin soup? Hot buttered toast? Sounds good to me. While I do that, I hope you enjoy the Skeptic Zone. It's the loons from Canada. Here's Kate and Allie.
This is Adrienne Hill, a.k.a. Allie, and I'm standing in the hallway of Concordia University in Edmonton, Alberta. Why am I here? Well, I had the opportunity to address Dr. Rodney Schmaltz's fourth-year class at McEwan University on a variety of topics, including obsessive-compulsive disorder, the law of attraction, pareidolia, priming, and spirit and ghost photography. after class, we all came here to Concordia University to look for ghosts. And of course, I had my thinking is power. I hope it's a ghost this time t-shirt on, and my ghost earrings made by Kat. Kat, a.k.a. Kate, is not with me since we have each gone off with a different group. Isn't that what happens in all good spooky films? Everyone separates into different groups, usually ending up alone in the dark, like I am. Oh dear. I hope you enjoy our adventure.
Is the spirit in the stairwell, but we don't know which stairwell, but it's in this building. So it's either that stairwell, but my guess is it's that one. The ghost there, that was the one, it was a young girl who's pushed over a banister and now haunts. So what you're looking for there is a dragging sensation as if preventing you from reaching the top. But we are in Schwarman Hall. This is the part of Concordia that is the oldest. It is 100 years old. Supposedly a couple different ghosts potentially. So there's Arnold Gruber. They follow the students around. It could also be Dr. Schwarman himself. So there's a few different variations. There's been some teachers supposedly, so it kind of depends where you read.
Teachers?
Yeah, a former teacher.
Yeah, a former teacher from the 60s.
Yeah.
I'm coming back and haunting the place and I'm dead.
So we'll break into 3 groups. One group will do this floor. We'll cut all the lights. We've got the Ouija board. That'll stay up here. I'll send the dowsing rods to the group going outside. 2 groups staying inside. We'll each get temperature gauges. So we'll have about 20 minutes at each location. So again, one is this floor, the other one is the entire campus, and then the third one is outside. What you're trying to do is basically replicate what the ghost hunters would do, but we can have very earthly explanations for these supernatural findings. So see if you can kind of create a ghost-like finding. So just like we saw in the talk today, see if you can get some ghost photos, see if you can get some orbs. In terms of the other tools, I've just got a bunch of flashlights, because again, the lights will be out up here. And we've also got the EMF meter. We'll just switch that out between the groups so everybody gets a chance with it. And if we want to look for EVPs, we can put this somewhere as well, and we can play it back the next class and see if we hear anything. And when you use the Ouija board, again, we know what it is. It's an audio motor response, but you should still be able to create that response. Even if you're not a true believer, theoretically, it's a little bit of a debate on that. But the way to use it, you can have probably up to 3, and just have one finger on it. Very, very gently ask a question. You can see yes, no, or you can spell out names and so on. One of the ghosts' name is Larry. See if you can get it to spell Larry. With the dowsing rods, I showed you how to use them earlier. And there's a couple ways that they supposedly work. One is they're supposed to find water, but these are copper, so they find ghosts too. And if you're walking and they just cross, that could mean it's a ghost. Or if they go like that, it could mean it's a ghost. Or if you ask a question like a Ouija board and it's yes, no, if it crosses, that's yes. And if it goes out, that's no. So you can just walk around. These will be for the group outside, because I don't want anybody walking around and people looking at us doing this. So we'll do this outside, all right? For the groups that are going outside, or when you go outside, lots of photos of windows, because you'll get reflections, and that's a good chance to see something that looks face-like. So I would try to stay around this area. This building is the most haunted one. The haunted tree is too far away, but there's lots to see around here. So lots and lots of photos, and see if you can create something that, if we were kind of more traditional ghost hunters, I suppose, and believe that we were going to find a ghost, see if you could find something that they would see as compelling evidence, whereas for us, we can debunk it probably quite quickly. But that's the goal, is to see if we can recreate what the ghost hunters do.
This is Kat McLeod coming to you from outside Concordia University in Edmonton, where we are embarking on a ghost tour.
If there's a ghost here, is it true that you were pushed down the stairwell?
I can't take this seriously. Wait. You said that in such a funny voice, too. Is there a ghost named Larry in this building?
Does your name start with an L?
This ghost you found? You found a ghost? Can you give me your name?
Yeah, so my name's Sebastian. We were by that doorway just right across the room, and it got pretty cold there.
And therefore, ghost.
Of course.
And what was the name?
Sherwin?
Sherwin. And did you all feel it?
Yes, my name is Carson. We all collectively felt the cold breeze of the ghost.
And your name?
Emma, and yeah, we did feel it. And I felt it too.
Have you ever been on a ghost tour before?
No.
Are you worried about finding a ghost?
Not really.
And what's your name?
I'm Sally, and I felt the presence of the ghost. It was a little bit nerve-wracking. You definitely got a little shaken up.
I'm Michaela, and yeah, we definitely felt it in the stairwell there. It was crazy.
Were the lights on?
Yes.
Ooh. Yeah. And you were still kind of shaken up by it?
Yeah.
What's your name?
My name's Isha Kohli.
How are you liking the ghost hunt?
It's very spooky. It's giving eerie vibes over here.
Are you terrified?
No, not terrified, just kind of interested.
What's your name?
Temi Oyenekin.
And how do you feel about the ghost hunt?
It's very interesting. Haven't spotted anything so far, but we're still looking around in hopes that we find something.
Are you a believer?
I'm open.
Open to the idea?
Yeah.
Hello, I am Ryan. I don't see ghosts because I think they respect me and they don't want to hurt my feelings and they don't want to scare me, so they like me too much to haunt me, you know? I'm just a beacon of charisma.
We had like the EVP reader, I think it was called, and that was beeping the entire time that we were walking around.
So not just on the stairs then?
No, but it liked to go off when the band was playing a lot. So I wonder if that's related to that.
It might be.
I think so.
What are you about to do now?
Ouija Larry. Yeah.
Ouija board time. You're going to try and talk to the ghost.
I think his name's Larry. Larry the ghost.
All right, let's do that. Should we turn the lights off for atmosphere?
Yeah. We have a flashlight.
I think we start by asking if there's any spirits present.
Okay.
I believe it's moving.
It's crazy that it's moving in your direction.
I'm not moving it.
Maybe you're Larry.
I believe that might be my past life.
Larry's channeling himself through you.
Yeah, I think he's trying to speak through me.
Mm-hmm.
I think Larry's a bit upset.
Oh, yeah.
He has to channel through me and not one of you. What letter is that?
A U?
A U. It is me.
Yeah.
It is me.
It has to be.
It has to be. I mean, that's why he's saying that.
Are you with us, Larry?
He said...
Yes.
He said yes. Oh my goodness.
What else are we going to ask?
Larry, did you teach here at Concordia University? Yes, he did teach here.
Larry was a teacher here.
Okay.
When are you guys moving it?
How is this happening? That's just crazy.
It's interesting how one person removed their finger and it's still
moving. Exactly.
How could that be?
I know. I was taught when I was growing up, my friends and I used to use the Ouija board, that if somebody removed their finger partway through, it wouldn't work anymore.
I think Larry might be pranking you guys. Wow.
Have any of you been on a ghost hunt before?
No. I've been to this haunted museum in Las Vegas before, though.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Zach Baggins from Ghost Adventures.
No way.
Yeah.
I've never been
crazy.
there. I want to go.
It was very interesting.
Have you guys ever heard of Kenny Biddle? I mentioned him today in the talks.
I don't think
Are you looking for Ouija board?
Yes.
Yeah?
Larry answered some very interesting questions we had for him.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Larry wasn't talking before, so excellent.
There were lots of giggles, but we had to turn the lights out before he would really talk.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
No, I don't think he wanted to talk during the light.
Yeah, no, that's what
don't
gives us
think
work.
so.
It's bright. They don't care for that at all.
Maybe there are signs.
Just had an EMF spike.
I don't know why they don't have signs.
It went up to 870.
So the higher the number, the more like presence of a
The more
ghost.
electromagnetism there is, which is supposedly a ghost.
What's that scary?
Now we're down to nothing. Wow. Huge spikes. We are getting all kinds of ghost activity in that hallway.
Hear that rumbling sound? That's probably for some pipes, or I think there's a boiler in here. And you don't hear infrasound. That's below our threshold of hearing. But you can kind of feel it, right? So one way to test, and this is not the most accurate way, but if you have the matcha or a candle or a flame, see how it's bending a little bit and kind of flickering? There's no breeze in here. that is all infrasound. See how the way it kind of bends a little bit unusually? If there's a lot of infrasound, it'll actually start to spin. But that means there's quite a bit here. We know what it is, so not scary. But imagine if it was pitch black, you believed it was haunted here, and you walked here and you felt the hair on the back of your neck go up and you could feel something. Not that unreasonable to think it's a ghost. So we can understand why people believe it, because one, they don't know what infrasound is, and two, it is the most logical explanation for a lot of people for what they've experienced, which would be something like this. So what I want you to do is go through the campus now, see if you find any other areas with infrasound. Go check out the library very quietly, see if you can find a ghost there, and the ghost we're looking for is a skeleton for some reason, and you can also look for the sounds of the skeleton there. So go check it out. We'll be back at 10 to 9, and good luck.
So I'm standing here with some of Rodney Schmaltz students, and we're outside dowsing for ghosts. Can you say your name?
Hi, I'm Ella.
I'm Rianne.
And have we found any ghosts yet?
Our tools say that we have found a couple, probably 3 so far, I think.
Yeah. We've seen a lot of orbs using my phone right now.
And do you know what causes orbs, or do you think they're actually ghosts?
I think they're just dusts in the camera lenses and just a bunch of the lighting settings and flash.
It could be water droplets as well.
Hi, Madrir.
Hey.
You're the official dowser right now. How many ghosts have you found so far?
Oh, just one so far.
That's more than enough.
I was trying to maintain balance until I lost it and the rods just crossed.
I was going to say, you were extremely steady. Those rods are very easy to move.
That is true. They're easy to move, but I maintained them balanced for at least 5 minutes until someone distracted me and they just crossed.
And therefore ghost, right?
Yes, and there was a ghost.
No other explanation?
Yeah, no, this building is haunted.
How old did he say this building was?
More than 100 years. It's a really old building. You can see those trees. They look so haunted. And this wall too.
And that's where all the orbs were, right?
Yes, yes. We were actually able to grab a picture of a face as well.
Oh, let's see.
Oh, right there.
Definitely a face.
Right? On
For
that
sure.
haunted wall, yeah.
Very good catch.
Yeah, right there.
Excellent. Now, I think I missed you, didn't I?
Yes.
What's your name?
I'm Kayla.
Hi, Kayla.
Hi, nice to meet you.
How are you finding this ghost hunting tour so far?
I mean, now that I'm here, I'm feeling really good. Earlier, I'm a little bit nervous, but now that we're here, it's pretty exciting to get into it.
I agree. I was a little nervous. I've never been on a ghost hunting tour. Have you?
It's my first time, but I like to watch a lot of paranormal ghost hunting stuff, but I was like, I will never go to one myself, but now we're here.
Yeah, and it's fun. We're in a group, and we're all doing the same thing, so you don't feel unsafe.
It makes it feel like much better that we're like with other people.
If you try to like do this alone, there's no way.
I think that the whole idea of being primed would make us way too frightened.
Yes.
Oh yes,
100%.
Yeah.
This is amazing, actually.
Yeah, it's great. It's a perfect spot for
How many years have you been doing this?
We have done this almost 10 years now in different places. Yeah. Across Edmonton, we've checked out a lot of different hauntings. We've done Concordia University 3 times now. There's a lot of ghosts here, so I feel that we haven't finished. We have not solved all the riddles of who is here. So we're going to wrap up. Thank you again very, very much to Holly Ann for allowing us to come in. It's a perfect spot to go ghost hunting. And thank you to Kat and Adrienne for coming and making this a part of their podcast. The next class, we will have a debriefing on this and we'll talk a little bit more in detail about what we found. So with that, it's getting a little bit late. So thank you everybody for coming. I'll see you in class and great job tonight. Good work.
And nice to meet you all.
And I'll see you next week.
Well, that was so much fun. I think one of the most interesting things that happened on tonight's ghost hunt was when one of the students discovered a UFO that was flying across the sky very erratically, like no aircraft we know of could actually fly. And her first hypothesis was that it was an orb she had caught on her phone. And we both kind of went, well, I don't know. Maybe it was a reflection of the moon. And we started looking around and we went right back to exactly where she was standing. And we suddenly realized it was from a street light that had kind of a shape of a UFO. And she was actually able to recreate her video. It was a really fun aha moment that happened. And I'm really proud of these students for not just jumping to a conclusion when they find an anomaly in their photos or videos, and they look to try and find an explanation and recreate it. It was really exciting.
This has been a spooktacular evening. I loved how some of the students I went outside with were able to create their own ghost photos when they discovered that exhaling near a camera lens on a chilly evening created ghostly images when the flash illuminated the vapor from their breath.
I want to thank Rodney for inviting Kat and me on this adventure, and Dr. Holly Ann Passmore for guiding us at Concordia University, helping us not get lost in a very wonderful, confusing, and spooky location. And to thank the students for being such great participants in the class and hunt, and for allowing Kat and I to interview almost everyone.
This has been a great Kate and Allie adventure. Until next time, this is Kat McLeod.
Until next time, this is Adrienne Hill.
We take you now to the mystical chambers of Psychic Penny.
Oh, that's odd. I'm not expecting anybody at the moment. Who is it?
Hello? Psychic Penny?
Well, if it isn't Agent Zorak from the Galactic Federation. What can I do for you today?
I'm on leave at the moment and decided to spend some time in Melbourne, Australia. Can you offer me any insights into what I should do there?
Just give me a moment. Let me gaze into my crystal ball. Oh, yes. Yes, I see. I sense. I sense. I sense. You going to the Stolberg Hotel, 197 Plenty Road, Preston. Ah, it's becoming clear now. You will hear a talk by Adrienne Hill entitled Tourette Syndrome, Sounds, Movements, and Myths. You will make your way there on Monday, the 31st of March. And I see that there will be a dinner. There's going to be a dinner. And it starts, give me a moment, at 6 p.m. and the talk at 7:30 p.m. My psychic insight can be verified by clicking the link at skepticzone.tv.
Adrienne Hill? Never heard of her.
Oh, yes. She's a long, long lost cousin of mine, I think.
Oh, yes, because all humans are related, right?
Now, it's time for you to cross my palm with maple syrup and be on your way.
Is that real maple syrup or fake Australian maple syrup?
Oh, not again. Of course, it's real maple syrup that I require. I don't want to get in trouble with the skeptical fairy godmother angel from the internet.
Gee, your predictions are expensive. And sticky. Okay, I'll go see this talk. Monday, the 31st of March. Will you be there?
You never know.
Now I won't have to deal with any bunyips or drop bears, will I? I heard they had quite the
infestation. Now, as I'm sure you all didn't notice, the Earth was not subject to the great revelation or revealing or whatever you'd like to call it of alien motherships, which was supposed to happen on the 15th or the 16th of this month, not long ago. It didn't happen, but it was supposed to. Why do we know this? Because people who channel the Galactic Federation told us this is exactly what was going to happen. Oh yes. It wasn't Psychic Penny. Maybe that was the problem. But let me play you now a few clips of people who are undoubtedly in touch with the Galactic Federation, and this is what they were saying just before the big event was supposed to happen. First up, we have a channeler who goes by the handle of Jennifer Hopsicker, and this is what she was saying around about the 15th of March.
Today I have a message from the aliens, and I wanted to let you know that I am now one of the communicators with the Galactic Federation. So this message came to me in meditation this morning, and I have written it out so I can read it to you. Today, you will start to see our motherships around the world. We will remain over mountains and oceans and will not move. We are not here to cause fear. We are here to show that we come in love and we come to help the human race and the planet Earth before it gets too destroyed. There is much that needs to be fixed, from corruption.
But she was not the only one giving us these messages via paranormal means. A seemingly popular TikToker, Emily H. Eaton, Divine Magic with a K at the end, posted this on the 13th of March.
Today is March 13th, and I have another message from the aliens. I'm an interdimensional communicator, which means I can talk to angels and aliens and other interdimensional beings. Today I have a message from the entire Galactic Federation channeling as one collective. And as usual, they sent me the message telepathically. I converted it into words on my iPad. I checked in with them to make sure they agreed with my translation, and now it's ready for you. And the message is short, but it's specific, so buckle up. Here's what they have for us today. This weekend will be known as our arrival. We've been in position for some time, and now the conditions are right for us to become fully visible in the sky. In less than 48 hours, there will be reports of our motherships in the global news. We remind you once again, we are not invading or attacking. If we wanted to harm you or steal your resources, we would have done that long ago before you did so much damage to the planet. We are arriving now not to solve your problems, but to assist you in solving your own global, national, and regional problems.
Well, there you go. And there were more. I mean, I'm not going to play all the people a couple of weeks ago who were eagerly telling us about the imminent arrival of these alien spaceships. But what went wrong? I mean, I looked. I didn't see any. What went wrong? I wonder. Well, let's see what Jennifer has to say about this sorry situation.
So here is the message. Let me switch hands. Good morning. Today we have a message for you. We understand that you are frustrated and upset with us as we promised that our ships would be here this weekend, and they were not. The issue is that there is no time where we are. There is time on planet Earth, but there is no time in space. And we understand that as a sad-sounding excuse, so we will be more careful with our words in the future when we announce when the ships will be coming at this time. We don't have a date for you because, again, we are trying to translate it into human time so we do not frustrate you again.
Ah, it's all clear, of course. They don't understand the time scale here on Earth. Maybe it has something to do with relativity. What do you think? Oh, it's a simple mistake. I mean, I do it myself from time to time. I forget that Earth has one time reference frame. And so that's the excuse. Now we know. The strange thing is, Emily has maybe another idea as to why the aliens didn't make themselves known. Let's have a listen.
Today is March 17th, and I have another message from the aliens. So today I asked the Galactic Federation to give me a message for you in response. And as usual, they sent me the message telepathically. I translated it into words on my iPad, then confirmed my interpretation with them, and now it's ready for you. Here's what they have to say to us today. Our last message was accurate at the time we shared it. We were in full agreement and we were fully prepared. But when it came time to execute the plan, Prime Creator decided against it. The council members and district representatives tried our hardest to convince him, but failed. He had changed his mind and we could not move forward without his agreement. So for now, our auxiliary craft and orbs will continue to get more active, but the motherships are being held back from visibility until Prime Creator decides the time is right. Until then, we will continue to increase the visibility of the smaller ships and orbs and support you telepathically if you ask us to.
Prime Creator? Who is this Prime Creator? I wonder if Emperor Snazzleflurp knows about Prime Creator. I'm beginning to doubt. I'm beginning to doubt what these people are saying. Prime Creator? Now, of course, the question really is, are these people sincere? Do they really think they're hearing voices and getting messages from angels or aliens or interdimensional creatures or whatnot? It's hard to say sometimes because we can't really look into their minds and know for sure. But whatever the case is, one of the mistakes they make, these people, is from time to time is they give a definite date. The key, if you're listening out there, the key is never to do that. You always say, it's coming soon, any day now. Just wait. The signs are right. We can feel it. If you give a date, and of course these things never eventuate, then you're left in the position these people were left in, is having to come up with excuses. Not that I think it's going to particularly harm their presence on TikTok. But won't we all look silly if next week the aliens appear and they simply say, oh, well, we were meant to come a couple of weeks ago, but we got our time frame wrong.
Hey everyone, it's Brian Dunning here from the UFO movie They Don't Want You to See. If you liked the film and you'd like to hang out and talk about UFOs and all kinds of other strange phenomena, then let's do it in the best place of all for weird stuff, the Bermuda Triangle. This July, my nonprofit, Skeptoid Media, is taking up to 60 of you to the Bermuda Triangle. We're having a shipboard conference featuring some of your favorite podcasters, science writers, and experts in the strange. The rest of the days are all side quests on various islands, and we've got a full agenda for you every day. Come and travel the Bermuda Triangle with me this July. Full details are at skeptoid.com. I hope to see you there.
Hello everyone, this is Adrienne Hill from Skookum Studios in Calgary, Canada, and I'm here to read you the highlights from the Australian Skeptics Newsletter. This is newsletter number 218. Don't forget, you can sign up to this newsletter at skeptics.com.au and get the full report, complete with all the links every other week, right into your inbox. But now let's see what Tim Mendham has for us this week. Hi all, says Tim. If you're reading this, then you haven't been kidnapped by aliens, at least not yet, which is a shame as March 15th was World Alien Contact Day. Apparently, this has been going on since 1953, which seems a bit early in the era of World Days to express such equanimity about our interstellar friends. No one seems to have hit the headlines with any noteworthy contacts, so we'll have to move on to more grounded events. Read on, Tim. Okay, Tim, I will do just that. As it turns out, I was not kidnapped by the Galactic Federation. Or was I? Maybe it was just my long-lost cousin Penny. And for more stories updated almost every day, you can go to our social media, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, yeah, we know, etc. And hopefully soon on Skeptic Talk. Skeptic Talk? Oh, God. Oh, you got me there. Skeptic Talk. Oh, I'm a little slow. It's late at night. Okay. Mercola wants to kill vets and talk with disembodied spirits. Alt-Med proponents, this is your leader. Quote, influential anti-vaxxer and supplement salesman Joe Mercola wants veterinarians killed as he blows carbon dioxide gas up his rear. Mercola has daily Zoom calls with a medium who goes by the fake name of Kai Clay and claims to be channeling an entity he calls Balon, end quote. This is an excellent video that lays out the facts, and this was also covered in the last episode of the Skeptic Zone by yours truly. That video was just jaw-dropping, and if you haven't heard the interview with Jonathan yet, please do check out last week's episode. Australian police use of psychics. Oh dear. This is a curious article by Gary Nunn, who has written about psychics before and regularly has a bit each way on whether the claims are accurate or not. See our less than favorable review of Nunn's book in The Skeptic, September 23, page 24, and the true story of psychic Debbie Malone and the Lynn Dawson case, September 2022, page 22. Oh, there's a lot of twos. Supplement industry poised for record profits. This is an opinion piece on the supplement industry in the United States, unregulated, unrestrained, and promoted by pseudoscientific misinformation, and we're looking at head health honcho RFK Jr. Meanwhile, a rundown on the pros and cons of supplements, benefits, recommended dosage, and toxic problems when you exceed those recommendations. White House CDC nominee pulled. In the meantime, the White House pulled its preferred vaccine skeptical nominee for director of the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or the CDC, ahead of a scheduled Senate hearing. A new nominee has been announced, Susan Monarez, who is the current acting director of the CDC and whom President Trump describes as, quote, an incredible mother and dedicated public servant, end quote. Why we love pseudoscience. This is a 25-minute audio of an interview with Nate Peterson, historian, librarian, and co-author of, quote, Pseudoscience, an amusing history of crackpot ideas and why we love them, end quote. Why we love to believe in things we know aren't true. FSM's new web address. For your information, Campaigners Against Pseudomedicine, Friends of Science in Medicine, has changed its URL to, quote, scienceinmedicine.au, end quote, which replaces the previous address, scienceinmedicine.org.au. Just drop the org, which is no longer active. Skeptics in Action. If you have any ideas for stories or want to contribute to Skeptics communications, such as the magazine or Facebook page, or just have something you want to get off your chest, then you're welcome to get in touch. News leads should be sent to newstips@skeptics.com.au. Submissions for the Australian Skeptics to consider, etc., as well as comments and suggestions should go to editor@skeptics.com.au. Items of interest. The top 10 most haunted roads in the world. Haven't we covered that before? Just keeps on coming back with a new list. Thanks, Tim. So, there's examples of haunted roads for the US, Canada, Scotland, Russia, but not Australia. No Australian examples. It's easy reading, but it is harder driving. The rub on VapoRub. The Vicks ointment rubbed on the body to relieve coughs, congestion, and minor arthritic pains has suddenly found uses further down, on your feet, to induce sleep and calmness, apparently. Just rub it on and put your socks over it, which to us sounds like very smelly socks. But the promoter of this, miracle turns out to be, try and guess, a chiropractor, which has set the alarm bells tingling. Something smells just a bit off. Well, my grandmother claimed that Vicks VapoRub cured everything. She was an early adopter, apparently. But at the same time, I think she was mostly joking. It was pretty fun. Pete Evans rubs shoulders with Trump and Musk. The ousted Aussie chef and two-time winner of the Skeptics Bent Spoon Award says he met with President Trump and Elon Musk at Mar-a-Lago and set his sights on a new career in the U.S. This story doesn't actually say what that new career entails. Maybe it's more spoon collecting. The most haunted home in every U.S. state. Some of these homes are modest, some are stately, but not all are houses, unless you have an incredibly large family. So I'm guessing some are hotels. Winston Churchill and Britain's last witch. Ooh. Churchill took an interest in why the courts are hassling a Scottish medium. This is an interesting article, and it's a promo for a 4-part BBC program on Helen Duncan, who was arrested for witchcraft and mediumship in the 1940s. Acclaimed physician shares her journey into the paranormal. Well, actually, not that acclaimed, and not much of a story. We just like it because it came out of the Welsh town of Abergavenny. And you just did that on purpose, didn't you, Tim? So I would have to try and pronounce that. Abergavenny. Thanks, Tim. Were you testing me on that one? And I hope I got it right. Which you don't hear from very often, unless you're a fan of the 1968 song by Marty Wilde, who happens to be the father of 80s singer Kim Wilde. Well, that's all for this week's newsletter, so it's time for some Canadiana. Last time it was about elbows up, but this time I'm going to talk about The Friendly Giant. I'm wondering how many listeners out there actually remember The Friendly Giant children's television show. I certainly remember looking up, way up, to see Bob Home, who played the giant, who lived in a cozy castle with his sidekicks Rusty the Rooster and Jerome the Giraffe. The Friendly Giant is a Canadian icon. But was Home a Canadian? Yes and no. He was born on March 8, 1919 in the small town of Stoughton, Wisconsin, USA. He went to the University of Wisconsin, graduating with a major in economics. He worked at a bank after graduation before joining the Air National Guard, after which he studied psychology at Cornell University. He eventually took a job at the University of Wisconsin State Radio Station. In 1952, Holm came up with the idea of creating a children's program, while his wife Esther came up with the idea of The Friendly Giant. The Friendly Giant first aired on May 8, 1954 in Madison on WHA-TV. National Education Television carried it from 1955 to 1968. The production of the show moved to Canada in 1958 to the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, or CBC, who produced the show until 1986. Holm became a Canadian citizen in 1990, and he was awarded the Order of Canada in 1998, which is a very prestigious award. And I find it really interesting that Holm started his adult life in the military, then as an American banker, before transitioning into the softly spoken, kind, and entertaining Canadian giant. Until next time, this is Adrienne Hill from Calgary, Canada, signing off. This is Psychic Penny, and I've made my way to Melbourne, Australia. But I sense, yes, I sense that on Thursday the 3rd of April at Sydney Skeptics in the Pub, Karen Bijkersma will be giving a talk. It's strange, though. I can't get any more information from the ether. At least, not at the moment. So strange.
Hello, everyone.
Oh my goodness. It's the skeptical fairy godmother Angel from the internet.
Yes, and I have more information about Sydney Skeptics in the Pub.
Oh.
Karen Bijkersma, who I think might be a distant relative of mine, will be giving a talk entitled Catfish, Phishing and Other Online Predators. Just head to the Occidental Hotel in Wynyard at 6 p.m. Everybody welcome, even psychics, wink wink, although you'd think they'd be able to spot a catfish with their special powers.
Oh, now I sense that for more information you can click the link at skepticzone.tv. Now, come on, Skeptical Fairy, let's find some real maple syrup. And we all know real maple syrup comes from Canada. Luckily for you, I have my own maple syrup one, and I know that
time once again to go back to those pages at Trove at trove.nla.gov.au. Thank you, National Library of Australia. What a resource for everybody around the planet. Millions of archived reports and articles and so on in newspapers and magazines and so much more. And we raid it regularly. We dive into this treasure trove. And today we're diving in and swimming about to have a look for the Yeti, also known as the Abominable Snowman. A classic. What a classic of skepticism. These giant, basically humanoid characters, animals in furry coats are reported here and there. And when I was a kid in the 1970s, of course, it was big news. Well, I mean, there was a lot made out of it, you know, Bigfoot especially, which is a cousin of the Yeti, which is a cousin of the Yowie here in Australia. let me see, 2025, 1975, 1976. So for me, it was all very exciting around about 50 years ago. As Spock might say, logic dictates that after 50, 60, 70 years of investigations and looking and just the passage of time, it's surely more than enough time for some real evidence to present itself, which I don't need to tell you. So far it has not. But let's take a quick look, and I've probably mentioned this before. I think I've probably covered Bigfoot or the Yowie in the Trove segments before. Bigfoot, also known as the Abominable Snowman, the Himalayas and so on, Sasquatch, Yowie, Yeti. An ape-like creature reportedly sighted hundreds of times around the world since the mid-19th century. The creature is variously described as standing 7 to 10 feet tall, 2 to 3 meters, and weighing over 500 pounds or something like 225 kilos, with footprints 17 inches or 24 centimeters long. The creature goes by many names, but in Northern California it is known as Bigfoot, probably because the tracks were of feet and they were big. Maybe it should have been called Big Feet. And I've mentioned here on the Skeptic Zone before the late Rex Gilroy, who lived not far from Sydney up in the mountains, who had a impressive collection of Yowie, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, this sort of tall humanoid creature, footprints, plaster casts. He had many, an unusual amount, bordering on farcical. And personally, I've long suspected that he would simply go out and create these things just for his amusement and notoriety and so on, because he had so many and giant cat prints and all sorts of things that it just really was bordering on, yes, farcical. But I guess he needed a hobby, I don't know. But maybe Wikipedia can help us narrow our criteria, because really we're interested in the Yeti, or the Abominable Snowman. And it says the Yeti is an ape-like creature purported to inhabit the Himalayan mountain range in Asia. In Western popular culture, the creature is commonly referred to as the Abominable Snowman. Many dubious articles have been offered in an attempt to prove the existence of the Yeti, including anecdotal visual sightings, disputed video recordings, photographs, and plaster casts of large footprints. Some of these are speculated or known to be hoaxes. Folklorists trace the origin of the Yeti to a combination of factors, including Sherpa folklore and misidentified fauna, such as bear or yak. The Yeti is commonly compared to Bigfoot of North America, as the two subjects have similar physical descriptions. And of course, that article goes on and is worth having a look. But certainly in decades gone past, and we're talking about before the Bigfoot craze of the 1970s, it was more common for newspaper reports at least to talk about the Yeti or the Abominable Snowman. I think owing to exploration and adventures and that sort of thing in the Himalayas. And I'm surprised to see just how many reports there are in Trove and other online newspaper resources talking about the Abominable Snowman. So let's start with the Mercury from Hobart, Tasmania, published on the 3rd of March 1953. Believers in Abominable Snowman. New Delhi, Monday. Australian Associated Press. John Hunt, and that is a fortuitous name, John Hunt, leader of the British Everest expedition, said today he believed the Abominable Snowman reported to roam the slopes of Mount Everest was some undiscovered creature halfway between ape and man. The expedition's advance party is on its way to Kathmandu. Colonel Hunt said he had seen footprints of a snowman in 1937 in Sikkim, and I'm not sure how that's pronounced, Sikkim, an Indian protectorate east of Nepal.
I have always felt that this is some creature that has not been discovered, which lies at the head of these valleys and may well be something halfway between ape and man, and that has escaped development,"
he said. Now, what does the Canberra Times have to say on the 7th of September 1959? Search for Abominable Snowman. Calcutta Sunday, Australian Associated Press. Another US expedition is to search for the Abominable Snowman, this time in the mountains of Sikkim, and try to bring one back alive, according to British United Press. The leader of the expedition, Dr. Carroll, said yesterday that if he saw a Yeti, he would fire a nicotine-filled syringe from an air gun to drug the Yeti. Maybe the Yeti could do with a vape, I don't know. He is also taking a special net, it'd have to be big, which will have sewn into it fruits, which apes love. Of course, fruits are so common in the Himalayas. Dr. Carroll believes that the Yeti is an anthropoid ape. All right then. Bouncing around the 1950s here we are in the Brisbane Telegraph, the 9th of December 1953. Abominable Snowman. Helsinki, December 8, Australian Associated Press. Sir Edmund Hillary said today that the leader of the Everest expedition, Colonel Sir John Hunt, had seen an abominable snowman. "We believe this strange being is an ape because his tracks, which we saw in the snow, resembled those of an ape," he added. Apologies to Sir Edmund for that terrible New Zealand impression. Ooh, what do we have here from the Daily News from Queensland, dated the 12th of July 1952. Abominable Snowman, an abominable illusion. Geneva. The Swiss climber Raymond Lambert, a member of the Swiss Everest expedition, said yesterday that the so-called abominable snowman did not exist. Footprints in the snow found by the expedition were made by bears, although the expedition never caught a glimpse of the animals. Lambert, who, with a Nepalese guide, got within 900 feet of Everest's peak, said it would have been terribly dangerous to have gone on any further. "We might have got higher, but we should never have returned," he said. Probably very wise. 1954, here we go. Daily Advertiser from New South Wales, 13th of February. Abominable Snowman. Washington, Friday. Everest expedition leader, Sir John Hunt, thinks there is something in the Abominable Snowman legend. During a visit to Washington yesterday, he was asked whether the dreaded snowman really lived in the Himalayan heights. His reply was, "I think there is definitely something to be found." And now we find ourselves catapulted some decades later to the 1980s, 1988, in the Canberra Times, and this was published on the 17th of October. Abominable Snowman sighting. Moscow. A hairy abominable snowman, nearly 2.5 metres tall, was sighted recently in northern Siberia. Must have been on holidays. By a Moscow University research worker, according to Soviet television. Mrs. Maria Bukova said she was in an izba, a traditional log cabin, and I'm not sure how that's pronounced, ISBA, north of the Arctic Circle, when through the window she saw a giant man covered in white hair, even on his face. She said the creature emitted horrible cries, which she declined to imitate. In a follow-up, the daily Socialist Industry published on Saturday an account of 3 expeditions to the far north, led by Mrs. Bukova, in search of traces of the so-called abominable snowman. In Tyumen, Western Siberia, people reported regular sightings of a humanoid locally named the Marked One because of a white mark on his left hand, the paper said. Or her, come on, who knows what it was. At Zapolya, oh goodness me, Zapolyaryny. I don't know how that's pronounced. Zapolyan. Beyond the Arctic Circle, sightings were reported recently and in the 1920s and the 1960s. I'll probably get angry emails from my Russian listeners now. In the most recent, a group of teenagers said they had been attacked by a gibbering humanoid who threw stones into a fire they had lit. They showed moulds and photographs of prints made by a foot measuring 34 centimetres compared with 28 centimetres for a normal male foot. I'll have to measure my feet and see what that is. The expedition found a cave where the snowman is believed to have lived. Hairs sent there have been sent for analysis to Moscow University. Now, as I said, I was surprised to see so many references to the Yeti, although, to be honest, most search returns are from the term Abominable Snowman. I've never said the word abominable so much. I have to thank Tim Mendham, actually, because for many years I struggled pronouncing that word. You might be like me. Some words all your life trick you up. They make you stumble. You can't quite get your tongue around them. It's frustrating. And I was meeting with Tim a few years back, and we were discussing, well, as you might suspect, skeptical things. And I mentioned to him that I couldn't say this word. I kept having trouble. And he said to me, well, think about this. Picture this in your head. A bomb in a bull. Like a hand grenade in a paw of ovine. A bomb in a bull. Ah, abominable. Thank you, Tim. And with that in mind, let's wrap this up with one more report. And let me have a look. This is from the Sun Herald newspaper, dated the 23rd of February, 1964. And the story is called Abominable Snowman, Weird Body in Hills. And also on the page, I can't help noticing a giant ad here for Buckingham's shopping centre. And what is their special? And their special is silverware, cutlery, plates and cups and knives and forks and stuff. Let me have a look. 30-piece utility set, 43-piece cutlery set. The two for just £6.19 and 6. I think that's £6.19 shillings and sixpence. And this seemed to be a shopping centre chain which was at West Ryde here in Sydney, Liverpool here in Sydney, and Wollongong just down the coast. Because when you go to Trove, you never know what you might find. Let's get back to the Yeti, the Yowie, the funny creature. Here we go. Weird body in the hills. Moscow, Saturday, Australian Associated Press. A retired Soviet Major General claimed today that he had found the body of an abominable snowman nearly 40 years ago. I hope he kept it in the fridge. General M.S. Topolsky said he made the discovery while fighting bandits in the western Pamir Mountains in Soviet Central Asia in 1925. To check this strange story, he said, we made a bandit show us the exact spot and cleared the snow away. We recovered the body. At first glance, I thought the body was of an ape. It was covered with hair. But I knew there were no apes in the Pamirs. We tried pulling their hair to see if it was just a hide used for disguise, but found it was the creature's natural hair. Elderly. General Topolsky said it was a male creature, about 5'7" in height, and appeared elderly. The chest had brownish hair and the stomach greyish hair, with the hair being thick without underfur. The buttocks, knees, feet and palms were hairless, and the colour of the face was dark. The temples were bald, and the back of the head was covered with thick matted hair. The eyes were dark and the teeth large and even, and shaped like a human's. The forehead was slanting and the eyebrows were very powerful. The protruding jawbones made the face resemble the Mongol type of face. The nose was flat with a deeply sunk bridge. The ears were hairless and looked a little more pointed than a human being's, with a longer lobe. The lower jaw was massive.
The creature had a very powerful chest and well-developed muscles. We didn't find any important anatomical differences between it and a man,
he said. And you may have noticed I didn't try to do an impression of a Russian accent. Well, I did, and I decided against it because it was just sounding a bit too comical. Well, there we go, just a grab bag, a lucky dip, a selection of mentions of the Yeti or the Abominable Snowman, again mostly dating from the 1950s, with one in the 80s, one in the 60s. And it's something you really don't hear about much anymore. Not even the poor old Bigfoot in North America gets much press anymore. I think in the order of 8 years ago, there was a TV show hosted by Dean Cain, where they set out with a group of people to find the Bigfoot. I think it was more or less like a competition, the first to find the Bigfoot or something like that. Well, no surprises. Naturally, they didn't find the Bigfoot, so the show was a bit of a fizzer, I think, a bit silly. But, you know, to this day, if people have good reason to suspect something, then by all means they should investigate it. But I think we now have sufficient reason to consign Bigfoot, Yowies and Yetis to the past. But you too can confine all sorts of things to the past, or you can look in the past and see what was already confined, or something like that. When you go to Trove at trove.nla.gov.au, have a look, because you never know. As we know, as we've discovered, as we know all too well, you never know what you might find. Thank you for listening to the Skeptic Zone podcast, and thank you to those wonderful people who continue to support the show via Patreon or PayPal at skepticzone.tv, and thank you to those new people who have come on board recently. It really means the show can keep going, and I appreciate your contributions very much. It means that not only do you enjoy the show, that you feel it's important to support the show. And a big welcome to Australia, Adrienne Hill, who's travelling with her distant cousin, Psychic Penny, all the way from Canada. And you can see Adrienne, as you heard in the show, you can see Adrienne in Melbourne tomorrow night at the Stolberg Hotel, which is in Plenty Road Preston. Links in this week's show notes. Go along, meet Adrienne Hill, and I'm sure Psychic Penny will be in the audience there somewhere. And that's the Skeptics Cafe. And as you also heard, here in Sydney on Thursday the 3rd of April, we'll be hosting Karen Bijkersma, a distant cousin of the Skeptical Fairy. This is all very intertwined, I think. And Karen's talk catfish fishing, as in the scam, and other online predators, a very important topic. So many vulnerable people out there who are taken advantage of, and Karen is out there helping to stop this. And I think that's very admirable. Anyway, Skeptics in the Pub, here in Sydney at the Occidental Hotel. Again, more information at skepticzone.tv. Now, a quick shout out to people who I won't mention, but as the saying goes, you know who you are. I have been a little bit up and down lately. I've had to have a little bit of a medical attention over the past little while, which hasn't been all fun and games. And I just want to send a special thank you to those friends out there who have been particularly helpful in your support, mostly by listening to my whining and whinging and my woes. I am getting better. I'm doing very well. I'm on the mend, and I'm looking forward to getting into full fitness and activity as soon as I can. But of course, it hasn't stopped me doing the Skeptic Zone. And I can also report that Henrietta, the Skeptic Zone cat, continues to improve. It's exactly 9 years ago today that Henrietta and Maud came to work here at the Skeptic Zone studios. I think they both deserve an extra helping of cat food tonight. Maybe some of their favourite tuna. But for this week, Skeptic Zone cats and skeptical fairies and psychic pennies and galactic federations and everything else, this is Richard Saunders signing off from Sydney, Australia.
You've been listening to the Skeptic Zone podcast. Please visit our website at www.skepticzone.tv for episodes and show notes with links going back to 2008. You can follow the Skeptic Zone on Facebook, X, TikTok and YouTube by clicking the links at our homepage, together with links to support the show financially via Patreon or PayPal. The Skeptic Zone is an independent production. The views and opinions expressed by our guests are not necessarily those of the Skeptic Zone podcast or any other skeptical organisation.